Welcome back everybody, friends and colleagues. My name is Robert Doman, and in this GB Studio tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you how we can make stealth, or a better description might be to say that how do we make things follow us after they've spotted us, right? So I'll show you what I've got so far. We're going to be using GB Studio, as I've said, and GB Studio is a drag and drop game engine that lets you make Game Boy games for a real hardware, or you can export to the web. Let's jump into GB Studio and I can show you what I've made, and we'll then remake it from scratch together. So we have this dude over here, and I warn you already that it can get laggy as we're using a lot of on-update scripts, but basically we have an actor that when we come into range, it then gives us a little signal that it wants to follow us. It then continues to follow us until we go out of its range. And that's basically as simple as it is. And we've made him rotate, and he can only see us when we're in his cone of vision, which is kind of just a straight line out from either side of him, which isn't ideal. However, it gets the job done, and it is a Game Boy after all. So let's jump into how you can do something like this for yourself. So first of all, let's start from scratch. Let's make a brand new scene. We'll just use the sample town again. I'll change the colors. I think it's grass, water, and cliff. And first thing I'm going to do is put in an actor, and we want the actor, and obviously this is all from the sample project, so you guys have access to this too. We have an actor which when we change its direction, we can see it change. And what I'm going to do is on the initiate, I'm going to add a timer and attach timer script to timer 1. That's what we're going to be doing. And every 1 second we want to, we can put it to 0 seconds really. But this is like a pseudo on update script. Okay, so the idea is that we're making him rotate, so we'll add a wait, and we can wait 2 seconds, and then we're going to change or set its direction. So set direction to, if it's going to start facing up, then next one we want is right. And then I can paste this, this, and this. And we can put these down as well. So we want down, we want left, and we want up again. So now when the timer goes through, it waits 2 seconds and then sets its direction. And I'll just group all these together because I know that we'll need to do that in the future. So let's group them together and put them all under this one group. And this is a good way of being able to copy and paste chunks of your scripts around easily, and also being able to close and open them quite quickly as well. So if we rename it to rotation, then we know what it does as well, right? Which is a good way of keeping organized. And now what we want to do is on update is say if actor is facing direction, so let's say down. Let's keep it to one direction right now, and then imagine we can just copy paste it to make all the other directions. So when the actor is facing down, and there's also, if we go in control flow, we can see all the other if statements. You can see if actor at position, if actor distance from actor, which will definitely be useful, and if actor facing direction, if actor relative to actor. Let's click on that one, because that one is the one we want. We want to say if the player is below the other actor, so in this case it's this one, and it's facing down because we've nested this if statement inside this if statement, then we can do something else. So let's disable this else for now and say if the player is below this actor, then we want to do the emote like we saw. And the reason why we do an emote is so that we can visually see a change has occurred and that something is going to happen. So let's test that and see how that works. That's a good place to begin. I need to also remember to set the correct starting scene to scene 27, as that's the scene we're working in right now. So let's press play. So let's run up here, and we need to be aware that let's see if we can avoid him first. So obviously we haven't set it up so when it faces left it sees us yet. It's just when it faces down. So let's see if it works. There we go. When we're beneath the actor and it's facing down, it sends us the heart, which is step 1. We've made it so that it can see us, right? But another addition to this, if we go into the control flow again, we can see that if actor distance from actor, and so we can use this function. You see, we can set a radius to basically control how close it will be when they show the emote, right? And the screen is quite small, so it can be a bit annoying because it's already quite small and tight. So it's up to your game. You need to think about what your game needs and maybe design it differently depending on the screen size and what you need to be showing us. But that's a choice for you guys. So for now, I'll just set it so it's within 4, maybe 5. I think 4 looks good though. So let's put the emote inside that one instead. And now we want to set a variable to true. So let's just type in set true. And it automatically comes up here. And what we want to do is make a new variable. I think I've already made one. And what you do is you just click on fresh one. So when they're named variable 31, whatever, like from 0 to 512 or something, you just click rename and we can put chase. But obviously I'll use the chase one I've already made. And we set it to true. And so now we can, if the player is within that circle, is below the actor, and the actor's facing down at the time, then the value chase is now true. So we can go and say on a new one, if true, so if a variable is true, and we can type in chase and find it. So if chase is true, then we want to chase the player. So we can say set position. Actually, no. We want to move. We want to visibly move the actor. So actor move. And the great thing is in GB Studio 4, we can say property and we can set the property from here. So instead of having to store the player's X and Y tile coordinates, we can just go in here and scroll down to the player X and the player Y. And we can click use collision so it doesn't go through walls and it doesn't go through us either. And now let's test that out. So from this you should know that it doesn't ever stop chasing, right? Because we never set it to false once we've set it to true. So let's try it. Let's see what we can do. Chase us. There we go. And now it will chase us forever because we don't ever tell it not to, right? So now the next thing is to say, stop chasing us, right? And actually, look, he's rotating. Even though he's moving, he's actually rotating, which is very bad. So we can fix that as well while we're here. And to do that, we'll go on the initiate again and say if a value is false, right? It's only when the chase value is false that we want to actually rotate. So let's go chase and put that group we made earlier. How good I knew what to do, huh? And put it on there. So when the chase value is false, it rotates. And all variables are false by default. They're all 0 unless we make them something. And true is technically the value of 1, okay? So beautiful. Now we need to make it stop chasing us. So once it's got to this position, so after this we can say, we can go into that control flow and look at what we might want. So if actor relative to actor, I reckon, and we can, actually no, it's not that one. It's, let's have a look. Distance from actor. I want the radius again. And I want to say if you're like outside of this kind of radius, a bit bigger, right? Then we can say, we can show the emote again. So let's do an emote. That's the palette. Emote, show emote bubble, and I'm going to set to sweat, like he didn't have enough puff to keep going, right? So we then also need to remember to set to false, set the variable to false of chase, so we know we're not chasing anymore. We can start rotating again, right? And that is as simple as that. If the chase is true, then we need to move to the player's position, and then once we're there, we check if they need to keep chasing or give up chasing. And let's press play. So here we are. Let's hide from him first. Boom. Now, when he looks around again, we can get chased. There we go. Now he's chasing us, and he got to the position and we were outside of the range. So we might want to adjust the range, right? The radius. Let's keep testing and see if we can figure out what might be wrong here. I think it's just that the radius isn't big enough. That's as simple as that. Let's double check the code. If the player is within this, then do the sweat and then set it to false. Otherwise it should go around again. Okay, what I'm going to do is put the if facing down script into the else. So that only happens when we're not chasing, because it might be that it's going through that code and checking to see if it should be chasing or not, right? So by putting it in the else, it's only doing it when the chase is false, which it's always false to begin with, so it should start on it. So let's try it. There we go. We get chased and the sweat happens again. So let's adjust the radius, I reckon. Adjust the radius if the player is less than... What if it says greater than? I think I see what I did wrong. All I did was invert the correct thing. So we want it to be, we don't want it to be if the player is within that circle. We want it to be if the player is outside of that circle. So it's greater than this 5. That's what we want to do. We want to say if they're outside of that radius, then they stop and sweat and the chase stops. So always remember which way around you got your if statements. It can be very confusing when you start layering them up. But let's see if it works this time. And it's a bit annoying that it's only one direction, but we can change it to 4 directions. And now he chases us indefinitely until we move out of the radius. So we can change that radius to make it more fun or less fun. But as you can see, we have the foundations now. So I'm just going to show you all 4 directions, and unfortunately I can show you that it also lags. So let's go back into this else down here. So if the actor is facing down, then do this. What we want to do is copy this, and I'm going to put it into the else. And you don't really have to put it in the else, but I did some testing and it's very hard to tell, but it feels like it's more optimized when it's in the else. It sounds strange, but it means that it's not doing 4 things each time. It only needs to do 1 and up to 4 things, if that makes any sense. That's just my way of thinking, but we'll see. So in this one we have facing down, in this one we'll have facing right, and if the player is to the right, then do this. And then we have this one, if the player up, if the actor is above, and then if we have to the left, and if actor is to the left. And that's all we need. So let's press play and see if it worked. We're back in, and now it sees us even on the right. So let's get out of his vision. And just be warned, like, it should work even there. Interesting. Oh, the radius, that's why. Cool. So the radius is quite small to begin with, and then it gets bigger. And here we go. Here's the lag, right? because it's doing so many checks. So there's probably a way of optimizing this. For example, checking if it's in the radius first. That's a good idea, Robert. That's a great idea. So yeah, that would be homework for you guys. Can you put all those statements inside the radius first, so that we basically take out an extra free scripts? You can also make sure it doesn't keep running while off screen, but it still feels like there was some lag, which is strange. But here you go, guys. Here's how you can make stealth in GB Studio. You can imagine how you'd have layers of this checking. And I do feel as though it would work better in a turn-based game where the lag would be, you know, not as visual as the real time. The real time is where you're moving like this constantly. And like turn-based is where you get given X number of moves and you move one at a time, and that takes down your moves, and then the enemy moves once or whatever, right? That might be a better way of doing it. However, obviously real time is a lot simpler and easier to like get your head around, I think. So I hope this helped, and I hope now you can enjoy followers in your game and you can have stealth missions to some degree. And yeah, good luck, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you thought of this video. If I didn't say at the start, this video was actually suggested to somebody who emailed me asking for help. So if you have any suggestions or any requirements, help, you know, that you need, then feel free to email me. I might not be able to get back to everyone, but to the ones I do, I might be able to make a video for you guys. So yeah, I'll put my patrons up on screen right now. Thank you so much to you guys. You guys are absolute best. Any video ideas, you obviously, the patrons get the first priority. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.